What is up, guys? I'm Opt, and I'm here to share my advice with guild masters, officers, and raid leaders, whoever, about getting your guild out of a slump, out of a progression slump. And now, basically, what that is it's a time of very little to zero progression. It is a time when everybody's frustration is at a peak because of the lack of progress, and you might have lost players by now, and it seems like the end of the world, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. I'm here to tell you also that it happens to like every guild. I know it's happened to me in my guild. I'm a guild master myself. I've overcome this, and because of that, I have really useful insight on how to overcome this and how to even not let it happen again, which is actually really important as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to make it step by step on how to deal with these slumps and how to get out of them. So let's obviously start with step number one. And step number one is what I like to call the heartbreak step. Step number one is removing problem players. Okay? Trimming the fat, if you will. Every guild, or most, I shouldn't say every, but most guilds, most progression rating guilds have some people in there that should not be progression raiders. These people might be super nice. They might be, super friendly, super funny, even a friend of somebody. But let's be real for a second. If they're not playing to their potential, I mean, it's nice that they're friendly, but this is a video game. And in order to, be able to play with, at a certain level, you need to have a certain skill level. And if these people aren't possessing that skill level, what needs to happen is they need to be removed. What I like to say is it's better to be proactive than reactive. It's better, to remove these people, and start getting ahead and replace them with people that are better than to, just wait and have some of your core members leave and go to guilds that don't have people like this, and then that get ahead. And that's, what you don't want. And then, end up cutting these bad people after you've already lost people that couldn't take raiding with them anymore. And it's, like I said, it doesn't have to be because they're bad people. It's just because they're not, playing up to the level that the rest of your raid wants to play with. They're holding people that back. And that's what you need to realize as an officer, as a raid leader, and as a guild master, is these people are holding you back in one way or another. And in order to succeed, you can't have dead weight. This isn't a carry anymore. In order to raid at mythic level, you need to have a team that's capable of raiding at mythic level. Everybody needs to pull their weight, especially for mythic fights. There's plenty where not one person can mess up. So, sorry, but, they've got to go, guys. And the second tip is also something that's pretty, basic, is make sure the fight is appropriate for your group before you attempt it. If your group has a relatively low item level and the fight requires a high item level, don't go in on that fight. It is true that a lot of times skill does outweigh gear, but gear is what gives skill a platform to go off of. You can only play up to a certain level, and that level is dictated by the gear and itemization you have, guys. So if you're not, ready for a fight, just say you're not ready for the fight. Just wait for a fight that you're ready for, essentially. Go back and farm some heroics. If you're attempting something and you're not killing it and you can't figure out why, it might be for one of these really simple reasons. Either you've got some problem players, or you just need to go back and get everyone a little more geared. It's pretty simple. The third one is, something that goes off of, attempting bosses for a long time, is don't go changing your strategy, every other pull or something. Part of the most important, aspects of progression are surviving boss phases consistently. And what I mean by that is just pulling a boss so many times that, like, for example, phase one, eventually you're immune to. You will not die to phase one, and then attempting phase two a bunch of times, making it to phase two, and then not dying on phase two, and then eventually going to phase three and working until you don't die on any phase in that boss, and then you eventually get the kill. That's progression, and that's what makes the game so fun. But if you're constantly changing your strategy, you're doing your own guild a disservice in the sense that no one's going to know what to do. And if you're constantly changing the strategy, people can die at any given time. And, it's not necessarily their fault. You made them used to one strategy and now you're mixing it up on them. Of course, they're going to mess up every once in a while. Which, of course, brings me to that next point is practice your strategy a bunch of times before, you think you're going to get it. You need pulls, guys. You need pulls. So, if you don't have like 20 people, if you have a problem recruiting, if you have, any sort of problem like that, a lot of these harder fights require practice. They require people to see them, and they require, any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just attempts, I guess. Let's leave it at that. I'll just leave it at attempts. But these fights need attempts, and if you can't fill your roster and you're only getting a few pulls in per night, don't expect to kill these bosses, especially the mythic ones. All these fights need a lot of practice, a lot of mastery. That's what makes them so much fun. So yeah, you need to practice. Just practice, and before you expect a kill, make sure you are fully prepared on any boss that you do end up giving an attempt to. Also, another good strategy is going back, especially since, like I said, I haven't really dealt with it, but there's the frustration aspect of slumps. You might need to go back and practice, maybe in the heroic version of a mythic fight, for example, like you go back and kill a heroic boss, or something like, I know they're not really on the same level, but honestly, just doing even a heroic day, or maybe going back down a peg and doing a different mythic raid a little lower, just so your guys have a sense of like, okay, we killed something, and like you kind of like give them like you make it like so they know, they understand that they can then go back and kill the harder boss. You just got to give them a sense of confidence, really, in the sense that they can do this. It's just that they're messing up little things, and that's the last point that I'm going to make, is visualizing yourself basically killing the boss. A lot of World of Warcraft is mental. I know that sounds a little silly, but basically, if you don't have the mindset that you're going to kill the boss, you're not going to play to your full potential, and you're not going to really try as hard because you don't think you're going to get it anyway, and no one wants to waste anybody's time. So basically, if you're the raid leader or you're the guild master, a good way to get your guys out of the slump is use the word when a lot. Instead of saying, if we kill so-and-so, we're going to go to so-and-so, just be like, when we kill blah, 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 we're going to go kill blah, blah, blah. So that basically just, gives your guys a sense of like, okay, yeah, we can do this. If you're not confident as a raid leader and you're not confident as a guild master and officer, what makes you think your guys are going to be? That's your job. You're the head honcho of said guild or said group. If you don't think you can do it, why the heck would your, guys think you can do it? Why would your, raiders think you can do it? That's like management 101 stuff right there. You gotta be, constantly reassuring these guys that the fight's simple, that the fight is doable. That's the main thing. The fight is doable, and it will be done as long as everybody plays to their full potential. It's really simple. You just got to make sure to get out of slumps that, everything that you're doing is at the appropriate level. Quick recap. Don't bring in players that can't do the fights. Don't do fights you can't do. Make sure you're constantly practicing that fight. Once you have a certain strategy down, don't change it. It works for other people. It could work for you too. It's not bad to change your strategy to make things easier, but don't overhaul it, And, lastly, make sure you're staying confident and assuring your players that it can be done. It can be pushed past, and that everybody here, is confident and capable that not only they can do it, but that the entire group can do it. And that all comes down to you as a raid leader, as an officer, or as a guild master, staying confident, being reassuring, and, just being a good leader. Because it's really on you to get your guild out of a slump. You can't just run into these bosses and expect that they'll die, after nothing's been changed. There is things that can and need to be done in order for you to overcome slumps. So, anyways, guys, that's my spiel. I hope it helped. And wow, it's been 10 minutes already. I've been tabbed out. Unbelievable. Anyways, guys, if this helped for you, please go ahead, give me a like, give me a favorite, or whatever social media site we're on, whatever. Give me an upvote even. Yeah, guys, give me some feedback, and I'd love to do more of these. Like I said, I am a guild master myself, and I love helping out other guild masters get their platforms started.